I still remember the time when I was in grade 4. By that time, my father was working in electrical department and we were staying with the electrical quarters. I was by then around 8 years of age. And as you all know, the time I'm talking about it is 80s and 90s. And that time, celebrating festivals, occasions, used to be with a prime charm, and little children's used to enjoy that festivals a lot. They used to wait for the day when there would be some holidays with regard to festivals, maybe Ganesh Puja, maybe Saraswati Puja, or maybe Dasera or Deepavali used to be celebrated with a lot of enjoyment. In fact, these days also we celebrate, but the time of 80s and 90s was quite different. We all used to wait for that occasions. We all used to wait for the time when the celebrations used to come. Well, I'm talking about Ganesh Puja. And in colonies, societies, quarters, people used to celebrate a lot, like maybe in a colony, 5, 6 Ganesh Pujas used to be there by that time. I'm narrating an instance of one Ganesh Puja when I was with grade 4, maybe 8 years old. Let me just tell you the story of that time. Now, I consider this story as a signature story of my life from where I learned many things. And up to the time today, in fact, I have remembered that instance that is completely printed in my mind. So, let's see what is the learning that I have learned from my signature story. I used to be very shy nature by then. And what personality you are seeing in front of you at the present moment, Mr. Dave, is completely different by then. I was a very shy-natured guy. Up to my 10th standard, even I was not having many friends. I was having only 3 friends in my career, in my schooling career. And in fact, everyone was knowing me as a silent nature boy, a very shy nature boy. I was really very reluctant to talk to people. I was really very reluctant to interact with people, and I was really very reluctant to come to groups, gatherings, such like. But my father, when he had been to the electrical quarters, he said, "Boy, you need to interact. You need to make yourself free. You need to talk to people so that you can learn many things from them." And then I decided to have interaction with one group of elderly brothers. They were elder than me. In fact, they were reading with higher standards, but they have accepted me as a friend in their group, and we were playing together, we were interacting together, we were planning out for certain sort of festivals like this. In fact, the day was of Ganesh Puja, and they were having a discussion within them that how we are going to celebrate this Ganesh Puja, what sort of arrangements we'll be making, from where they are going to get that Ganesh statue, from where they are going to purchase the decorative accessories, and from where they are going to arrange for the tent and all. So it was a discussion going on, and I just entered. I said, "Hey bhaiya, what is going on?" Now the brother said, "Beta, we are planning for Ganesh Puja, and for that we have decided that we will have subscriptions from our home. So, will you bring the subscriptions?" I said, "Sure, I will go for it." I had been to my home, and by that time, the value of 10 rupees or 20 rupees used to be so much. Now these days, to which we feel that 10 rupees and 20 rupees have no more value, but by that time, it was really having its own value. We were 10 kids, and we all 10 kids decided that let us bring 20 rupees each from our home so that the collective amount would be 200 rupees, and we are going to celebrate Ganesh Puja with that 200 collection. Well, we have collected the amount, and as you all know, that Indian mindset of giving for any sort of festivals, for occasions, for certain good reasons, they used to add 1 rupee with that one. So it was 21 rupees each, and we have collected all about 200 rupees plus 1 rupee extra, that is 210 rupees. Now, with that collection, that elderly brother said that, "Beta, you are very small. Let us arrange all the accessories, and then after while decorating that event, we are going to call you." I said, "Well, it's fine." And it was the very next day when they came with all the decorative accessories. They started decorating. But I found that these elderly brothers, They are having some sort of worries within themselves. They were discussing in a very serious mood. And I entered again and I just said to that brother that, hey brother, what happened? Why you are so serious? You are not very free. We have purchased all the decorative accessories and still you are not happy. And that brother revealed to me, beta, we are having scarcity of funds. The funds which are there with us is not sufficient to have all the accessories. Now then I asked to him, brother, what else we can do? Now the brother said me something which brings the twist in the story. The brother asked me to steal money from my home. The brother asked me that, you know that where money used to be there at your home, if you are going to grab a little amount of it also, we can easily walk out with that function, with that celebration, with that festival. We can easily walk out if you can at least bring some amount of money where you find that money is there at your home, then certainly we can celebrate this festival with a lot of things, a lot of things. And now the brainwash of that brother was so serious. It got hardwired into my mind, and I just decided that let me go to my home. I'm doing a noble thing for Ganesh ji. Let me do it. So I have been to my home and I found that, and I was knowing exactly where my father used to keep his coins. I was really aware that my father used to keep the coins in the first drawer of the dressing table. So I had been there. I just grabbed with my little hand how many coins could accommodate in that fist. But exactly, it is not a small hand right now, it's a complete big hand. I grabbed that amount of money and I kept all of them in my pocket. That day, I still remember my cycling, my pedaling was so difficult for me. It was so hard for me. The time I started from my home, I closed the gate and I was cycling, I was pedaling. I found it more difficult ever. I found it the most hardest paddle I have paddled it out. I found it to be the most hardest paddle which I could have ever paddled in my life to any cycle. That day I was having the load of all the coins in my pocket, and even I was having a lot of concern in my heart that whatever I did, have I did the right thing or the wrong thing. But still, what is already done, that is already done. So I started pedaling my cycle. I started pedaling my cycle, and it was the hardest pedal that day. I could reach to that festival occasion and the event place. And then the time I was putting my hands inside the pocket, it was the hardest time in my life. I decided to give the coin to that brother. I took out the coins in my fist bag and I just said to that brother, brother, see, this what I could bring. Even by that time, I was not knowing the calculations. How much of amount was that one? Even I was unaware today too. But I have given all the coins to the brother. It was just after the time I gave the coins to that brother and took my move from there back, returned to my home. I was not even able to see myself in front of the mirror. Even I was unable to confront my mother and my father as well. But I decided that night that let me confess all the thing that what I did in front of my mother. Because a boy always used to be very close with his mother. So I said to my mother the entire scenario, the entire thing what I did, the mistake of my life, the greatest mistake of my life, what I did, that I have stolen from my own home, from my father's drawer. My mother was speechless after listening to my words. She couldn't have a good sleep that night, and whole thing what I have revealed to her, whole thing what I have described to her, she even described the same thing to my father. My father, in the next day morning, I was expecting that he would be beating me, he would be scolding me, but not exactly. My father has never scolded me, nor he has touched me one time. Whatever scoldings, whatever beating I got only from my mother. my father, but he is very sensitive. It hurted my father a lot. And when it hurts something to my father, he always used to make a move out of the home, make a round, and he used to come back until he settles down with all his mood, with all his emotions, with all his sentiments. He even came back that day after having a round outside. Said to me, "Boy, come sit at the back of my scooter. We'll go together." Well, I was well, I was really very terrified that what my father is going to say to me outside. My mother won't be there to save me, in fact. But what to do next? I sat at the back of my father's scooter, and my father started driving the scooter. We reached up to that puja event wherein that function, wherein that festival was there. And I found that day that my father was so gentle. He asked that brother, that elderly boy, that, "Hey boy, listen, what you did, it was completely a blunder. What you did, it was completely a blunder. Being an elderly boy, you should have taught good things to your youngers, but you have taught to steal money from the own home. And it's a complete blunder, I say. It's a complete blunder. It's not even a mistake, rather, it's a higher form of a mistake what you have done. In fact, the thing which my boy has never done in his life, he did it only because you have brainwashed him that whatever you are doing for a good reason, so do it. But you could have just said it in a different way. You could have asked to me directly. I would have just given you a lot of money to go for the festival, to go for the function, to go for your decoration, to go for every accessories that you were supposed to bring. But please don't do this sort of mistake again in your life. Please don't do this sort of blunder at any point of time in your life again. And do remember, both of you, what you have done, it's a blunder, it's not a mistake. That day, I could realize that yes, I have done a great blunder. It's a sin what I have done. From that time onwards till now, I was 8 years by then, I am 40 years by now. I could still remember and picturize that instance, which is completely just like a picture, just like a movie in front of me, which is rolling completely in my head. It's been saved with my preconscious state of mind. Now, to all my viewers, now you must be just thinking that why Mr. Dev has decided to share this sort of instance of his life even to us. The reason is that, my dear friends, the moment, the instance wherein you have committed a mistake, a blunder, and you have taken learnings from that one, that's the prime part of your learning. And you should not forget the learnings that you have taken from the mistake or the blunder that you have done in your life, that you have done in your past life, my dear, that you have done in your past life, and what learnings you have taken from that one. That's more important. Now, it is a message to all age group, my dear friends. No matter whether you are a small kid, no matter whether you are a school going boy or a girl, no matter whether you are a grown up person in your life, stealing is a bad habit. If you really have a stealing habit, and if that grows up more and more in your life, then you will certainly lose your ethics of your life, the principles of your life, the morals of your life, the values of your life, what you have been learning from your childhood time. You will spoil entire thing. Now it is you to decide what to do in life, whether to keep your ethics saved, whether to give respect to your moral values, or to do whatever you get a pleasure for that moment, for that instance. Like that day when I stole the money and given it to that brother, that bhaiya, that saved the situation, but that has spoiled my values of life, that has spoiled my ethics of life, that has spoiled the moral of my life. And today, even I still remember that story, even that is getting picturized in front of me. It's only because of the reason that I have taken a positive learning from that day, from that moment, from that instance, that I will never do this. I will never repeat this in any time of my life. You to decide right now, all the viewers, that what message, what moral that you have taken from this signature story of mine. Your coach, your host, your mentor, Devashish Dev is resting here until the time I'll be coming up with certain new video based learnings in front of you. Thanks watching me.